Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is not the video I intended to release this week, and I'm in my kitchen. This topic was important and I wanted to address it in a timely fashion, so forgive the lack of production quality, possibly. Uh, for those of you who don't know, or for those of you who are new to the channel, my name is David Rishpan. I am a pianist, composer, DJ, and educator in Montreal. I am Canadian. I was born in Toronto and I've been in Montreal for almost 25 years at this point. And currently, the big news in Canada, as of the time of filming, this is February 3rd, 2025. And Canada finds itself in a trade war with the US. The current US president announced 25% tariffs on products being imported from Canada. And Prime Minister Trudeau announced retaliatory tariffs on $155 billion worth of goods coming from the US. There is a large movement to no longer buy American groceries, partially because it's going to become cost prohibitive, and partially because we want to now support, more than ever, support Canadian businesses. And also, the three biggest liquor boards in the country, liquor commissions in the country, the LCBO in Ontario, the SAQ in Quebec, and BC Liquor in British Columbia, have all announced that they are no longer selling American products. And so it got me to thinking, we just finished NAMM, the National Association of Music Merchants, and a lot of us are excited about new products and new releases and new announcements. But in this era where the music industry has become so globalized, I realized I wasn't 100% sure of where the products I use are headquartered. And so I did a little bit of research this morning, and I realized the majority of the gear that I personally use is headquartered outside of the US. And I wanted to share that information with you. I wanted to share some other things I found this morning that are companies that are not headquartered in the US that I didn't realize were headquartered abroad or even local to Canada. And I just wanted to start the discussion of Canadian and Mexican and European companies, retailers, plugin developers that we all love, that we all use. Let's have a discussion in the comments. This list is not exhaustive. I didn't do a ton of research this morning. This is semi off the top of my head with a few things that have been contributed in the past couple of hours or so. All right. So I've done rig rundowns on this channel, and the two keyboards I use primarily are a Nord Electro 5D, and Nord is headquartered and I believe still manufactured in Sweden. I also use Novation, the Novation Launch Key 61. You've seen that in all the videos I've shot from the studio, basically. And Novation and Focusrite, their parent company, are headquartered in the UK. I primarily use Native Instruments plugins and Arturia plugins. That's the majority of what I control from the Novation. And Native Instruments is still headquartered in Berlin, and Arturia is a French company. When I perform live, those things go through a Radial Key Largo mixer and DI. Radial is from British Columbia. And so the only four elements from two companies of my live rig at the moment that are headquartered in the US or based in the US are my Apple MacBook Pro running Apple MainStage, and my stands. I use Ultimate Support stands. I use the AX48 Pro double stand with the mic attachment, and I use I think it's called the Hyperstation QR, the little laptop stand where I put my laptop. So those are American products. I don't plan on no longer using them. I'm not going that far, but I would not, if I had to build my rig from scratch, I would look for options that were not headquartered or made in the US. So I would look for an equivalent from K&M, who are based in Germany, or some other stand companies. There's a couple of great stand companies based in Brazil. There's Stay, and then a friend of mine sent me a video of another really cool stand company based in Brazil, whose name I cannot remember. If I can find it, I will put it in the description below. So we are very lucky in Canada to have a robust network of musical instrument retailers, many of whom are nationwide, ship nationwide, have stores nationwide. Long and McQuaid has stores all across the country. Cosmo Music, which is my hometown retailer that I kind of grew up in, growing up north of Toronto. They ship nationwide. Steve's Music, Moog Audio, Tom Lee, Red One, and then locally, to Montreal, we have smaller stores like Nantel Music, we have Twig Music for brass and woodwinds, and we have Timpano Percussion for drums and percussion. I would urge you, if you are elsewhere in Canada, to look up your local music retailer and start giving them more of your business. Say hi. Say hi. Hi. Some other developers and manufacturers that I want to shout out because I see them either getting less attention in the space or I didn't realize they were headquartered in Canada. Applied Acoustic Systems, who are based right here in Montreal. They make Lounge Lizard EP plugin and Ultra Analog as well. I used Ultra Analog for years. I still use Lounge Lizard from time to time. They sound great. They're very light on CPU. They're definitely worth checking out if you're in the market for a couple of synth or EP plugins. I did not realize, or I had forgotten, that Solid Gold Effects and Diamond Effects pedals are headquartered right here in Montreal. If you are looking for a Canadian equivalent to a lot of what Strymon offers, you can go with Empress Effects, who are based in Ontario. And I did not know that Rev Amps are based in Manitoba. There are so many fantastic independent luthier guitar makers and bass makers. There's obviously Godin's the big one, and F-Bass in London, Ontario. There are also tons and tons and tons of small builders all across the country. I am not a guitar player, so I'm not going to wade into that space. I also know there's an increasing amount of local cymbal makers, at least here in Montreal. There's PGB Artisan Cymbals. There are Dream Cymbals that I believe are headquartered here. Moperk is headquartered in Quebec. But again, I'm not a drummer, so I will leave that to a Canadian drummer to weigh in on about the fantastic options available in the drum and percussion space in Canada. Once again, this list is not exhaustive. I'm kind of going off the top of my head. Please leave your favorite Canadian and Mexican plugin developers, manufacturers, retailers, anybody in the musical instruments space in Canada and Mexico. Please leave them in the comments. Let's help each other out. I'm currently in the process of moving, and I am no longer going to be in the studio, at least not for the next couple of months, until I get the apartment set up. And the plan is to be shooting new videos in my home studio in the new apartment. So that's a little preview of what's to come. And I am going to look to companies in this list that I know are headquartered outside of the US for any of the equipment that I'm going to need in the rebuild. And if I have to go with an American company, I am going to buy it from a Canadian retailer. All right, that's the rant for this week. Thank you so much for watching. My name is David Rishpan. I'll be back with a musical video, I promise, next week. Take care. Passionate and curious kid, just like this cat.